Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Gesire Marian Ololobo Temile. Today I'll be speaking on African marriage, but I'll base my topic with the Nigerian marriage because I'm from Nigeria and I'm from the Ijaw-speaking part of Nigeria. Like I said earlier, Nigeria is made up of more than 250 languages, and Nigeria is one of the 7th most populous country in the world. In Nigeria, like most African tribes, marriages is more than just the union of two individuals. It is the union of families and ancestors and relatives. Like I said earlier, I'll use my tribe Ijaw as a case study. For the Ijaws, the union of man and wife begins with courtship. Once mutual interest is established between the both parties, then they both inform their parents of their intention to get married. The man's parents would then arrange to pay visits to the prospective bride's parents and to ask for their daughter's hand and as well set a wedding date. And that day is called an introduction day or engagement day. Once the consent of the bride-to-be is granted, the bride price list will be sent out to the groom's family. And this is called the introduction or engagement stage. And when a wedding date is fixed, it is a day of celebration and feasting where the bride price is paid. One of the marriage rites in traditional marriage in Africa is what they call fake brides. And before I go into that, I would like to say, in Nigeria, like my tribe, for example, the traditional marriage is very important. Even if you do the court or the registry marriage or the church marriage, it is not recognized in African tradition or any tradition in Nigeria. You must do the traditional marriage. It's very compulsory. That is when the whole family recognizes that their daughter is married. So I would like to take you from the step to step in the performing of the traditional marriage. One of the marriage rites in my tradition is the presentation of fake brides. Maidens are presented to the groom's family on the traditional marriage day, and they are covered. Their faces are covered and adorned with beautiful veils. And the family of the groom or the groom himself needs to unveil the bride, the fake brides. This is to make sure that the groom knows his bride. If he fails and picks the wrong bride that is not his wife, he will pay a fine to the bride's family. But if he gets his right, the negotiation of the bride's price begins. The money paid for the bride price varies depending on the family and what they decide to take from the groom. It can be also in the form of money. It can be €1, it can be €5, it can be €10, it can be €100, depending on what the family agrees upon. The purpose of the bride price is that it significantly states that small amount is shared among the bride's parents and relatives. That is the purpose. That money taken from that bride price is shared among the bride's parents and relatives as a way of concept that it consented to the wedding of their daughter to the groom's family. And also, in doing this on the traditional marriage, there's a list that will be sent to the groom's family earlier. And this list consists of all the items it needs to present on the traditional marriage day. And this comprises of clothing for the parents of the bride. Whatever they request is a special day the groom family has to buy it and present on the day. And also it comprises of clothing for the bride, boxes, lanterns, foodstuffs. They need to buy things that will show to the bride that their son can take care of their daughter. Those are the extra gifts in the bride price list that needs to be brought up. And this makes up the larger part of the bride price being paid, aside from the money. So during the ceremony, there's what they call kola nuts. Kola nuts and gin is presented to the bride's family. And this is used to pray to the gods for the marriage to be blessed. And also the bride brings alongside assorted drinks, beautiful things to adorn his bride. Like, for example, in also my tradition, the Ijaw traditional marriage, the bride and the groom, they have to dress in a different way, specially dressed. I will show you an example, and they have to wear a matching attire once the bride price has been taken by the bride's family, once the bride has concepted and the family has concepted, to taking everything from the groom's family. They now become a couple, and the bride will now go back and put on the same attire like the groom. I will show you a sample of what they put on. Like, for example, the bride could use this for her head, which is called gele. It's a soft material. It can be used on her shoulders, like this. And also, she can use this to wrap around her head. It's a soft material that will not hurt the head. And I would like to try it on. They have people that are trained to do this. I'm not a professional in doing this, but I will show you a sample of it. So the bride ties the gele. Depending on what style she decides to go with. But since it's a special day, she needs to make it so bold, so that she'll be different from the other invited guests. It can come in different shapes. I just did this very simple, but it's very soft. Don't be scared. It doesn't hurt your head when you do this. Then after the negotiation, in the Ijaw tradition, the bride is not expected to smile. In all of this, the bride must not smile. In the Ijaw traditional wedding ceremony, the bride is not expected to smile until she has been sprayed with a lot of money from the groom and his family. This is because she's expected to be sad to leave her family home until it is certain that the next new family can take good care of her. After the negotiation is over, the bride then changes her attire to match her new husband's color, like I said earlier. The father of the bride now goes before her in-laws, and she sits on the lap of her parents-in-law for them to welcome her in. And they pray for her, and the same thing is applicable to the husband, the groom. He goes to the wife's family, and goes and sits in between the lap of the parents, and they pray for him. The father of the bride then prays for them traditionally. And in doing this, both couples, they need to kneel down. But first of all, it's the bride that kneels down first. Then the father of the bride, after praying for her, he gives her a glass of palm wine to give to her husband to drink from. So the bride goes looking for her groom, and she gets a hat, a matching hat. It all depends on the family, but most times they will say to the bride, the hat that matches her wrapper should be worn on her husband after giving the husband the wine to drink. That is the hat of the groom, for example, and this is the wife's gele, like I tied earlier. So this is the husband's hat to match with the wife's gele. So she goes to her husband. In showing respect as a good wife in the African tradition, she can't just stand up and give her husband that wine to drink, that wine that was blessed by her dad. She needs to kneel down with her two knees on the floor. You want to see an example of that? She's going to kneel like this and face the husband and give him the drink, the wine to drink. And the husband takes it from her with love, and he plants a kiss on her chin or directly on her lips to acknowledge the receipt of the wine. And thereafter, she places the hat on his head. And everybody in the congregation claps, and they are now recognized as husband and wife after the husband sips from the glass. And that signifies to the crowd that he has accepted the wife, and they are officially man and wife. And they both to be prayed for by the parents of the groom, the bride, and all the elderly relatives around. Then afterwards, there'll be loads of drinks, dancing, entertainment, because it's a very elaborate ceremony on the day, because it's a special day. Then after all the glamour and after all the partying on the day, when the evening comes, it will be time to escort the bride to her groom's house. And this is the sweetest part of it. The new bride is escorted to her husband's house by family and friends. And if she has a younger sibling, they go along with her. Like in my tradition, most times, she doesn't go on that day. Like when I did mine, I didn't go on that day. It was the next day I went. And I was escorted by my aunties and my cousin. And the tradition is one member of the bride's family needs to sleep with her in that husband's house for like a day or two to make sure that she's being fed well, that she's being looked after. Because that will be the person that will go back to tell the family of the bride that what they saw and to acknowledge that that family is a good family and they can take care of their daughter. And in doing that, before then, by the time the bride, let me go back to this. But when the bride is being welcomed to her husband's house, the new groom, she can't just walk into the house of her in-laws. It's not done in Nigerian tradition. She must first be washed, her feet must be washed at the entrance of her husband's house. She cannot be allowed just to walk in. The family of the groom will bring in water and a towel, and they'll wash her feet and clean the feet with water. It's like a ritual thing, traditional ritual thing that is done. Alexa watched at the doorstep of the groom's family, and this is to show that she's sad leaving her parents' house, and it signifies her presence in the new house. At the doorstep of her husband's house, she's prayed for, her legs are washed, and cleaned with a towel. It is believed in doing this, the motive of doing this is that traditionally it is believed that she's washing, the wife, the new bride is washing away every bad luck that she might have brought into her husband's home away. And she's bringing in good luck to that new family she's getting into. And after that, like what happened to me, then when after getting into your groom's house, you're not just getting in and walking straight to the sitting room or sitting down. The wife, the wives that were married before you in the family, they come and hold you from the backside. They carry you like a little baby. Even if they can't carry you, they will hold you and you walk with you gently and place you directly straight on the lap of your father-in-law if he's alive. But if your father-in-law is not alive, the eldest person in the family does all that. They'll place you on the lap of the eldest man in the family, and there, he will lift you up and he will pray for you, and the whole family will be gathered, and that is another separate ceremony of merriment, drinking, dancing, like a new bride has arrived into their home. I hope you enjoyed this story of my African-Nigerian Ijaw marriage that I just told you. Don't be scared. You will enjoy it. It's just fun and pleasantry all the way. Thank you.